Hello, everyone. We have Robert Decoste here, top 8 at Nationals for North America.
Woo! Almost there.
Tell us what you played today,
Hey,
or
guys.
this weekend.
Yeah, so I played the Gohan deck, which kind of seemed like a little bit of a surprise to some people. I know it gained a lot of popularity like right towards the week into North American Nats, but it was around since the start of the set. Just not a lot of people were on it, and so we kind of just looked at this deck and said, "Hey, I think this is the best deck in the format," and that's a pretty big statement to say, but it did pretty well. I went undefeated in Swiss on day one, and then cut the top 16 was good, and then obviously I lost some time in top 8 to the Jiren match. I think if time weren't a factor, it might have been a little bit more beneficial, but hey, that's the game that we play. So let's just jump into the deck. So on the front side, an unassuming leader. It's a top 5 search when you swing for any Saiyan or Earthling that is red. Any Saiyan or Earthling. So searchable boss monsters, searchable SCRs, just like the Gohan, the green Gohan leader. And then the backside, when you awaken by 2 energy with a red extra card in your battle area, which I'll talk about in a second. It's an untap 1, draw 1. On the backside, it does not swing. It does not draw to swing, or whatever I'm trying to say. It doesn't draw when you swing. It's just an activate main. You can tuck a Saiyan under that red field spell and to draw 2. And then the other activate main / battle that it has is you can send a Z energy to your drop to float, essentially float a mana or 2 to pay for the cost of a card that is a Gohan or a Trunks. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so let's go into that. Let's go into the Z deck here. Okay, the field spell here, the Destroyed West City is what you play. So this is reduced down to 1 if you're this leader or the red androids from the set. It does have a Z-Stack one. I did not use the Z-Stack. We did not play Time Machine. And its activate main is place a red Saiyan or Android underneath this to just draw a card. So on a given turn, you're cycling essentially 3 deep into the deck. And then your goal is to tuck the little Trunks cards that go part of the archetype underneath these, and you'll be able to play them later. So more on this in a second. The rest of the Z deck was pretty self-explanatory. We had the Z leader, which is just pay 3Z and 1 to go into a 20k double strike that draws when you combo a red card on either turn. And it has the same activate main battle as the regular side, so you can float Z energy to pay for costs of cards, which we'll show you in a minute. Relatively useful. Did close out a couple of games, but you're not looking really to close out a game with this unless you need to. We did play a second 10 times command. We played a second Z extra card in the event that we didn't need this anymore, or just like it's just like a oh crap moment. So this card was not played the entire weekend. I would still play it as just a backup. I know some of the green Gohan players and my friend Jared with Expert 21 was playing the green Majin Buu, which would clear this card off the table, allowing me to reestablish this so I could use Explosive Dance. Continue to use Explosive Dance as well as have a little push if I needed to, and the game went super late. Surmounting. We awaken and go down to 6, so this is great to get me to 5 to blocker token to get my super combos online at 4. So surmounting is great. Played it half my games. Say no more. The Defender of Life, fantastic card. Used it to win a couple of games. Just sometimes a barrier double strike is good without having to pay the cost from the leader to give it double strike or barrier. It is a hefty Z energy cost that is essentially every Z that I'm paying on a battle card is energy lost for something else. So it's not common for me to play it. And then the 2 Rush Attack Vegetas, they did not come in handy in this specific tournament, but I have played them before in testing to push late game if I need to. But typically when we get to late game, the deck is already at such an advantage, I didn't really need them. So largely unused Z deck, except for this, because I want to use my Z energy for leader skill. So we'll leave this out and we'll look at the rest of this. Okay, So we'll start with the cantrips in the deck. We played two of each, a Goku and a Vegeta. This one on play draws. This one on play has the same effect as the Bulma I'll show you, which is search top 5 for a 4 or less Saiyan or Earthling and put it into your hand. So the deck is largely exactly what this is. But we do a 2-2 split because they have a second auto, which is the same. And that is when you combo this card, you can pitch a card. You can discard a card from underneath your West City to draw a card. So it's like a pseudo super combo. Sometimes you don't have a Trunks and you need to just charge a dead card underneath here. And it just kind of sits there. So you can kind of get rid of it. Or if you just need to dig, you can essentially combo this and get rid of one of the cards underneath here to dig a little deeper. And so really, really good. You do want to see them turn 1 so that way you have something to charge. And then the other cantrip in the deck is the Bulma. Ideally, you don't want to play her because she's a discard from your hand for free to search top 5 from your deck for a Saiyan or Earthling 4 or less, just like the Goku. So she is a great cantrip on turn 1. You love to see her. You could pitch her, go get something else. You can play her and combo her away. Lots of different practical uses for this card. But 8 cantrips in the deck was really, really solid. You always wanted to see a turn 1 play, and I think I missed it once. And also, I should mention this, I did play a 60-card list. We found that to be the most consistent, and I know what you're going to say, that doesn't sound consistent at all, but the deck draws a lot, and we found a lot of, in testing, that we would deck out too soon. So 60 cards it was, and boy, did it pay off. So 8 1-drops in the deck. Oh, I should also mention the Bulma has a secondary effect. You can tuck a Trunks from your hand underneath a field. I never once did it. It's all, this deck is all about value. So minusing a card is not my cup of tea unless I really needed an extra Trunks under here for some reason. All right, let's look at the Trunks. Frustration. The battle only activates from under a destroyed West City if a Gohan future or Trunks future is in combat. What it does is it combos from underneath, and then you minus 5k to a battle card or unison. Really, really, really relevant in this matchup. I mean, the card is, and a lot of times, a free 10k from underneath. And again, you're not losing value because you're using the leader to put it underneath the field and draw 2, and then you're using this as combo later. So it's creating a massive hand advantage because the cards that you're getting rid of from your hand for these 2 effects are being used later again. And so that's where the power of this deck really comes from. So you'll combo it, you'll get the combo power, and then you'll Z-charge it. And then later, that Z-charge will fuel more skills. So these cards are just working super, super, super overtime. And that's what makes the deck so powerful. 4 of the Trunks, which gives a leader double strike. A card double strike. Same effect, you can combo it from underneath a field spell once per turn. So you can combo from the destroyed West City, defensive or offensive. And then this is that skill from the leader I was talking about. All of these cards are going to have a pay 1 colorless energy. That's where the leader, you can pitch a Z energy to play that to pay the cost. Or you can just tap 1 energy for it. This will give any Gohan future or Trunks future double strike. And it's activate battle, which is insane. And then finally, the crits. Trunks. We played for the crit. My game plan, as always, is to never give my opponents cards, the life to their hand. So we want to make sure that we're critting down as efficiently as possible. And if they're comboing out, we're gaining value because they're losing hand advantage. The name of the game is hand size. That's really what we come down to in a game that we can combo. So I want to either deprive my opponent their life by giving double strike crits like 25k or 30k double strike crit, which is just low enough that they want to combo out of it and lose the hand advantage from that, or they take it and they lose the life advantage from that. So either way, it's really good. Same effects as all 3. You can combo from underneath the destroyed West City on either player's turn, and then you can also pay 1 or pay a Z with the leader skill to give it critical. And also on the Gohan and the Trunks futures. So 12 of those, hugely relevant. We want to see them. You always want to tuck them. Then we go to the Gohans. The first one is the uncommon. Pay 1 to play it as long as you have 2 or more energy. Pretty good. It's a 15k. All right, sounds good. But why would you do that? It's got this activate main to pay 1 to draw a card, or you can pay 1Z, and then also minus 20 to a battle card or unison. The unison is the most effective part. You're doing a lot of unison control in this deck. Unisons do not survive against this deck for very long, if ever, more than a turn. You could just ask Jared Lopez when I punt his Zamasu all the time.
Next for every turn.
Every turn. It's insanely powerful. And the draw 1. So you're basically, this is a pay 1 for a cantrip, and then you're recycling energy. And if you're swinging, you can combo the double strike from underneath it, and then give it double strike, and then use the, etc. It's just a lot of value for not a lot. Not my favorite card though. The MVP of the deck, as a lot of people will know, is the SR/SPR Gohan. You can pay this on turn 2 as long as you have the Destroyed West City. Draws a card on play in the activate main. So even if it's counterplayed, you're still getting your cantrip. And then if you have 3 or more energy, you can pay 1, again, colorless, so Z or pay 1, to restand it, give something minus 20. That's a leader, sorry, that's a battle card or unison, and then it also gains double strike on the restand. So turn 3 is a great play for me to go play it, swing at something, restand, neg something 20, and then swing at 25, combo a critical, a 30 double crit, and it cost me 1 energy to do all of that. It's an insane amount of value for very, very little anything, resource. So those are really, really great. You want to see these all the time. Typically, I'll play it turn 2, let it survive, and then I'll play a second one on turn 3, and then my opponent's in real trouble. And of course, the boss monster for the deck. This card is insanely underrated. This card's nuts. I know it doesn't have deflection, but one of my favorite things is you can just put it under Destroyed West City, and then draw a card for that. And then when you play it, you're not losing any hand advantage. And then if you activate main on the bottom part, you also draw a card. So you're literally plussing 1 for your boss monster. That's a rare feat to have a +1 on a boss monster. And it's a true one as well. So he has dual attack. When he swings, not once per turn, you can combo a 5k Trunks from your drop. Great. You can also give it crit or double strike from that 5k that you comboed. Because again, those cards are not skillless when you combo them. Then you Z-charge it, you restand, and then you swing again, and you combo another Trunks, or if you don't have another Trunks, you can just float the mana on the activate main, swing a second time, and then the same card comes into the combo area. Then you can, at the end of that combat, you can float that mana, and then pay the 2 that you have floating to pay for the cost of the activate main. And that is going to neg something, ignoring barrier, minus 35, and draw you a card. And then also restand it and swing again. Every time you swing, you could also take a life. So if you're going for a game, you could just rip your life into your hand and just gain a ton of value. This card is insane. And if this is allowed to swing 3 times in a turn, you are probably winning, period. I haven't had many games where that doesn't happen. So really, really valuable card. All right. Enough said. We don't need anything else. The only reason these are the silver foils is because the set 11 foils are still so warped. I didn't want green. I literally did not want green Gohan players cherry picking super combos out of my hand because they're warped and you can tell that they're super combos. So I borrowed from a friend, Victor, got the flat foils. They're pretty good, and that helped me not lose to Cells Kamehameha. Relevant things to think about, right? When your foils are warped because the set was so poorly produced. For Explosive Dance, we're in the negate section now. This card is great. It's not great into green, and it's great into everything else. Because green just combos away big 5k, big boss monsters for free. And then they can swing right through your Explosive Dance. So, great card. It's the freest of floodgates because you don't have to pitch any other cards. Wonderful. I don't think we need to say anymore. This card was a godsend for red. In the main board, we played 2 testing the opposition. We have a 3rd in the side, which we'll go over in a little bit. The testings are great. Again, you want to get to 5 to make sure you can use them. But the ideal situation here is to Explosive Dance and then testing the leader. So that way it kind of locks them out if they don't have an easy energy. And then that will ultimately shut down an entire turn. But testing is always great. We love free negates. Okay, the Heroic Videl. This was a card I did not use as much as I wanted to, but we added this in because there were a couple of reasons. One, we needed to fill out the deck with good pieces, but also having a couple of extra counterattacks that your opponent is not putting you on was pretty relevant in some matches. Also, it's a comboable card. Also, it's a searchable card. So everything in the deck searches, except for the black cards, of course, because all the searches are for red. But the Videl is in there as just like a, oh crap moment. We need to negate an attack. And also combo it away and gets the energy for it. It was relevant. It was not super impactful. It wasn't meant to be impactful. It was meant to just be there, and also something for us to side out if we needed to side stuff in. Overall, great pick. Then we got Baby Unison, 2 in the main board and 1 on the side. We built the deck for best of 3. We built with the intention of playing both 3. So the whole deck is either 4 ofs or 2 ofs. With consistency pieces in the board. And it worked out like a charm because this deck is supposed to just be able to do everything in game 1 in a best of 3. And it did, for the most part, except for time. It can't control time. Boy, wouldn't that be great, huh? It would be nice. So Baby is great. It's hard removal, which is wonderful. This deck has no hard removal. It has neg 20s. All over the place, neg 35, all over the 3,500, all over the place, whatever, right? But it doesn't have hard removal, so this is really great for that. Plus, the little baby bean is like hugely relevant, so we like that. Along with the baby, the 2 Videls. This right here in the main board it's here for U7. If you can establish this against U7, you're probably not dying, which is great, and we love that. We love not dying. So. Say no more on those. Also, in the counterplay area, we put 2 of the Gohans, the Defeating the Demons. This might be the one card of the tournament that I really just didn't play. It's here for the oh crap moment, and otherwise it's a searchable target on all of your searches, and that's it. I mean, maybe I played it once, but I wouldn't take it out. It was very, very good. I felt the whole day I wasn't missing anything. It was there, and when I needed it, but it just turns out I didn't. But we do love the Broly. The Broly is great. Turn 2 critical, 25, followed up by a 20k critical leader swing. Your opponent's either taking 2 out of life or you're taking it out of their hand. Either way, that's a lot of good pressure, and this cycles back down with the Overlord. I did win a game, however, playing it for the KO 15 or less, which is also relevant. So it's not always an Overlord, but the 15k is relevant as well for blockers. So super good. Would play again. And the last of the red cards, the Death Ball. Super clutch. Lets me push for game. It's pretty hard to push through a leader swing that has double Death Ball behind it. This is 25,000 power of value per card for 2 energy. Your opponent is just not getting out of it. End of discussion. With a couple super combos back behind it and your entire brick of a hand, this card has won me more games than anything else. And so, very, very good card. I would love 3. We had 3 originally, and we ended up cutting it out of the sideboard for something else, which I'll talk about. 2 Koits in the main board. Some games would come out. Some games would stay in. I mean, it's Koitsukai. The card should have been banned a long time ago. I think it's pretty unfair, but we'll play it because it's there. Black Smoke Dragon. 2 in the main board to answer the 4-drop. This deck does not have barrier removal prior to turn 4. So this is there for the U7 matchup when they play their 4-drop or Sin or the Goku. You need to be able to clear them. You can't just let them keep burning you. And so this was there for that with a 3rd one on the side for consistency. And then 2 overwhelms in the deck. It's crazy how frequently I would overwhelm back-to-back turns. This deck built a drop like mad. So Secret ID felt was better into this meta. A lot of lower costing things coming out. I'm not really worried about that one card that I need to clear. My battle cards do a pretty good job of that on their own. So Secret ID was great. And then, of course, the SCR, which is the Vegeta overwhelm. This card is stupid. I won 4 games with a quad strike to face and a counter. It's good. I mean, say less, right? And then on top of it, the double bean on your leader makes their crackback just so insignificant, which is great. We love that. So this is typically a turn 4 play. And yes, I saw it most games on turn 4. I didn't always play it on turn 4, but I saw it most games on turn 4. It was, sometimes it would come out of life. Sometimes it would be off the search from the leader. Most of the times I would just draw it. By turn 4, I had typically 15 to 20 cards left in my deck. And we're talking about a 60 card list. So even though 60 cards sounds scary, the consistency was there. And it was beautiful. Let's look at this sideboard. So talking about consistency pieces, we cited a third baby. This was for like the A21 expert deck match. This was for U7. This was for Green Gohan. Just ways to remove cards and just give a distraction to my opponent. 9 times out of 10, it worked well. It was a great distraction. Kept them off my face for a turn. And I'm like, great, I'll pay 3 to have you not kill me next turn. Appreciate it, you know. And a lot of players would kind of fall for it, which is great. Third, testing for aggro matches. We like the aggro matches. They are good, but we want to make sure that we can survive them. Third, black smoke, mostly for U7. Most of the time it came into the sideboard from the main deck. We just weren't playing it too much. And then the other one-ofs in there are the respect for Android 21, which is a very good matchup for me. New 21 is a great matchup. And I want to see it all the time. So unfortunately, I only played against one 21 player, and it was Michael Carrick. I wanted to see more, and Mike and I sat down, and he was just like, yep, guess I'm losing this one. And I was like, yeah, sorry, friend. No, we've tested this before, and we knew what we were going into since we'd been talking about it in team chat and stuff like that. So he was already aware of the situation, and it was a fun time. We were just able to kind of relax. We did play it out, but there was a couple other sideboard techs for 21, which I'll show, which give me an edge. And of course, the counter, super good into green and super good into blue, both of which use lots of free 1 energy negate attacks. And so common thing would be tap my opponent out, play Vegito SCR, and then follow up with this on the swing and just crunch them. And typically was good enough. For aggro, King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, super good. It did get me out of a U7 game by just being able to neg their 6-drop on their kill turn, just enough to get out of it, and then the crackback with my SCR on turn 4. Shu, King Piccolo's Underling. This is just good. It's good into a lot of things. It's good into blue, specifically because the defending friends. It's good into Shoot Peel Off My. There's a lot of practicality for this card, and so really liked it. It did come in handy, and that was really wonderful. We do have 2 barrier trunks. This is all the way back to the archetype cards. This trunks gives barrier until the end of your opponent's next turn. This trunks gives barrier to your leader. So when you swing for game against the mirror, you give your leader barrier, you double death ball, and then their death balls don't affect you, which is massively huge. Also gives barrier to your trunks, 8-drop, so it's harder for them to kill. This card is clutch. It's really good into blue matchups, and really good into it's really good into a lot of matchups. We did side it in a lot, but it stayed in the sideboard because it wasn't always relevant. 2 Deborah for the green matchup. Perfectly fine. Nothing to it. We love it. We had to respect green a little bit. And then my bread and butter for this list was the Gotenks Unison of Rage. This is the first Unison they ever made. This one and whatever the other one was. I don't remember. Unison of Fury, the yellow one. Great card because the -2 looks at your opponent's hand and takes away a multicolor card or a card that costs 10,000 power or less. So in the Android 21 matchup, on turn 3, you just slam this bad boy down after they've drawn a third of their deck, and you go, where's your SCR? Discard it, please. And once that matchup loses its SCR, it's a way big uphill battle. And you play 2 of these back to back, and then you follow up with a Vegito, and they have very little defense because you're getting rid of their SCR, you're getting rid of their full powers, you're getting rid of their 8-drops. And they're already charging those to begin with for energy, so now they're down even more because of it. So they're charging them, and then you're discarding them off of these. Hugely relevant, and that is what tilts the 821 match into my favor, and it is very, 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 very powerful. So this was a great tech choice. It is what I did to Legends in round 8. I played it on turn 4. He had no board to absorb, so it was just sitting in his hand waiting. And I said, I will take your SCR. And he was like, yeah, that's probably it. And I was like, let's keep on going. It was a good time, though. I mean, he knew I was playing it, so he was just hoping not to draw it before us, when I had it in my hand. So overall, the games went super well. I'll go over quickly my matchups here, and then kind of just give my last couple of tidbits here on the deck. So I had a round 1 bye from regionals, which was great. It just made me more nervous because I was like, oh man, I have to wait an extra, hour to play. I was just ready to go. My first round was a U7 player. He did a really great job kicking my teeth in. He saw the nut. He baited me he baited me 2 sins, and I thought I was safe, and then he played the third one on me. And he went to go in for game, and I was just barely able to get out of it with the imposing presence on his 6-drop. And then with no cards in his hand, I just played my SCR the next turn and crushed him. And so I was very fortunate to get out of that. I did go second that match, and I survived my only U7 match of the day. The third round 3 was against a ramp coup deck. Unfortunately, he did not have a good start. He did beast Gohan me pretty much right out the gate, and I was able to survive with one card left in life. And then I did. He had 6 cards in hand, and I was nuts. I was like, I'm so dead. There's no way I'm pushing through him. I played my Vegito on the next turn. Looked at his hand. He was tapped out. He had nothing but counterattacks. I said, good game. I have the counter. And again, I quad struck him to death, which was just really unfortunate. But it was a pretty close match. That next round was, round 4. I played against the Mirror. I think it was round 4, and it was against. No, round 4 was. I'm blanking. Oh boy. But round 4 I think was the Mirror. Oh yeah, against Maxwell. Dude, you did great. By the way, if you're watching this, kudos to you because you picked yourself up after that loss, and then you went to top 16, and that was really, really great. It was the Mirror. I did win the die roll. Nothing to it on that one. Round 5 was the Schumann Salsa player. And that, I never really played that deck before. I had to read all of your cards as we were going. And it was pretty solid. It was a pretty good match. But unfortunately, I was just kind of able to outvalue the deck eventually, getting his hand down. Because once I put a bunch of cards in my drop, he stops getting the extra draw off of his combos, and I was able to kind of push through there. Round 6 was against my teammate Robbie Rizzi. He was playing Green Gohan. I did win the die roll 7-6, and he just kind of sighed and went, yeah. And we played that game out. It was still really, really close. Just like he always does, Robbie played it to perfection. I was just able to eke out a win in round 6. And of course, Robbie also went to top 16 to play after that. So round 7 was against Marco, who also made top 16. And he was playing the Gogeta deck. He went first, and I thought I was dead to rights. He established his SCR. I couldn't clear it. He established his Boo. I couldn't clear it. But the only thing is he was missing a Vegeta piece, and he couldn't make a fusion on turn 5. And I was just able to capitalize on that really quickly. And I was able to clear everything out, and then eventually swing in for a game with some crits and some single strikes. And so, Marco, that was a great game. And of course, he also won out to place really high and make top 16 with us. Round 8 was against Michael Carrick, the Android 21 match. I actually don't remember who went first. It might have Might have been me, it might have been him. I honestly I don't remember, but it was fun. It was easy for us to kind of relax in round 8 because we both knew as undefeateds we were probably guaranteed a spot at that point, even if we lost the last 2 rounds, with our tiebreakers being so good. Obviously, Michael went on to top 16, and then we were in the same bracket. So had I not lost in the top 8, I would have played him in top 4. And I know that he was very thankful for my loss, and that's perfectly fine. We love it. We are here to support each other, and I'm very, very happy that it was him in the finals and not me, because Tarpini would have wiped the floor with me, because U7 is my worst matchup. Round 9 was against Brian Samuel, and we've played a couple of times in the past. I did get the die roll. He got the die roll, but he missed turn 1, something like that. It was a pretty good game. And we were, I think you could probably see that, at least we were on recording, so maybe it'll show up. He was playing Green Gohan. So over the course of the tournament, I played 3 Green Gohans, 1 in Top Cut, and then 2 in the regular tournament, and everything else was unique. So it was a pretty good tournament like spread, which really tested the limits of the deck, because I was able to play against a wide variety of decks, some off meta, some on meta, and going first and second. 5 of my 8 opponents made top 16 with me, so it was definitely a workout of sorts to get everything working all. Hey man, it was a workout to get everything there, right? All of my opponents did so well, and really pushed the envelope with me. So it made the feeling at the end of the day even better, knowing that it wasn't just an easy XO on day 1, so to speak. My top cut opponents were both the guys from Spain. David in top 16, right?
David and Ivan.
Yeah, David, and then Ivan in top 8. Both of you guys did a great job. Time rules should not exist in Top Cut, in my opinion. We had a long conversation about this on the way back to Arizona. It's just one of those things where, like, if you spent all day, you flew around the world, and you're playing all day in Swiss is one thing, but in a single elimination game, should never, ever, ever have time rules, or they should be so long that you can finish 3 games. And I think if we had the time, I would have had a little bit better result. This is the second time this year where I've gone undefeated in Swiss and then lost the time rules in Top Cut, specifically in top 8. So like that really says something, and I'm not a slow player. I think the people around me know that as well. I play quick, I play meaningfully, and my opponents both did as well. There just literally was not enough time to play 3 full games. And that's with 2 aggro decks. I can't even imagine what the control decks did. So the data shows that the timing is a bad thing, and that we really should be trying to adjust that. So David Fashbinder, if you're listening, or Bandai, if you're listening, let's talk about some rules changes that we can make to positively impact our player base, because I think people, it's a sour taste. It's bad for your game to lose in time and to have that feeling, that disdain. Big congratulations to my teammate Michael Carrick for winning for second place nationals and first place worlds. Very, very proud of him and all of his hard work. Very, very deserving. And to all of our friends and teammates on PPG and all of my friends here in Arizona. This has been one heck of a Nat season. Going last instead of first in the season is really tough because the format was pretty solved. So we had to come up with a way that to find a deck that would break the meta a little bit. And I think we were very successful. And I keep saying we because I want to give a very specific shout out to my good friend Daniel Dalby, who actually built this deck and convinced me that this was the right choice. He unfortunately had a different slew of matches that did not go so well for him, but I know he played excellently as he always does, and he's the mastermind behind this. The guy has always said tight 50, and then I look at him and he goes tight 60, and I go, gotta do it, right? And so Daniel's my real hero, because without him this would not be possible. We tested endlessly day after day. He lives right down the street from me, and then once I got on the list, we were able to talk about some tech choices, and we changed up the list a little bit, and we did well. So thanks, Daniel, for that. And to the rest of my friends, Jared and Alejandro, who's filming. Jared's right here next to me. The guys in our local area and the guys in the PPG chat who are with us. Like none of this was possible without you guys. It's a really, really great season. I'm very proud of the work that we all did and how we all finished. And so, yeah, if you want to talk more about it, please reach out. Keep an eye out because you'll be seeing us running around with this and coming up with new ideas and designs for the upcoming season. So I hope to see a lot of you out there in the next 2024 season. And until then, take care.